Sisters bonafide, sisters bonafide, sisters bonafide. I got my sister and me.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl Zahia. I am coming to you guys because I have a lot on my mind. Ever since Mayor Bill de Blasio announced that there will be no remote learning option, I've been stressed. My daughter she started kindergarten with remote learning. Pre-pandemic, when it was first starting, she was in pre-K. Right when things started happening, I had already pulled her out the school, and then that Monday, right after I did that, they shut the schools down. So she's been remote learning ever since. My reason for not opting her back into blended learning when it had became an option is because my daughter has very, very bad asthma and other respiratory issues. She is one that becomes sick off of like a cold. For anyone who has asthma, or for anyone who has a child with asthma, I don't know if you know my struggle, but a cold, what's a regular cold for another individual could land them in the emergency room, could land them admitted in the hospital. And asthmatics don't respond well to things like a cold or the flu, or she's had RSV quite a few times. My daughter has really struggled since birth with asthma, and it's been terrible. So you can only imagine how petrified I actually am of sending her into a school building with coronavirus. So when they made remote learning an option, of course that was a definite. That was no question for my husband and I. We were gonna do whatever necessary for her to be able to stay home and for me to be able to stay home with her and teach her. So no brainer. She is in an amazing school. She has an amazing teacher. She's had an amazing year. My daughter in kindergarten has made strides in every aspect, from when school first started up until now. Remote learning for her has been a positive thing. Her reading, her math, everything, every level has improved. She stays focused. She's made strides. She's going into first grade on a wonderful note. When the mayor announces that every kid is required to report back to in-person learning come September, now I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out because that is not an option for my daughter. Well, I'm sorry guys, you can see this big light in my glasses, but I'm blind. I need my glasses on. I know that that's not an option for parents who have kids without medical, underlying medical issues that could make something like COVID more traumatic. Medical issues or not, like there are a lot of parents who are scared and not ready to send their children back. And with my daughter, asthma, sleep apnea, it's not an option at all. There is no way. So now you leave me forced to have to do what now? Pull my child out of school, out of her wonderful school, to now sign up for homeschool, which the applications for that I think have to be in by July 1st. I haven't done too much research on it, but I think that's what I read. To have to pull her out of school to sign her up for homeschooling, now have to figure all that out, which yes, it's a long time until September, but it's not a long time for us to figure out another option for our children. So I don't understand. If a parent wants to send their child back to school come September, that is fine. No judgment from me. I am just talking strictly about what works for me and mine, period. The parents who feel comfortable or for whatever reasons have to send their children back, that is fine. Let those parents do what they feel is right for their child, for their family. But please, let there be an option for the parents who don't. How am I supposed to choose between her education and her health? You're telling me to send my daughter back into an environment that could kill her, literally. And I already know people are going to say, well, just homeschool her then. Just do this, just do that. How is that fair though? How is that fair that after being one school year in a school in an amazing school that she just started with her kindergarten class, to now have to figure all this out? When you homeschool, they don't have the option to interact with the children the way they do over remote learning. They have a class, they have a sense of a classroom, they have a teacher. It gives them a feel of being, of the school likeness, I would say. But how wasn't there another option? If they were able to do remote learning on this grander scale, how could they not figure it out on a smaller scale, strictly for the parents who don't feel comfortable to send their children back? I feel like, look, I'm ready to do whatever I need to do. I'm ready to before I get into that, my dilemma now is, do I prematurely pull her out so I don't get lost in, not having an option come September? So do I prematurely pull her out, start the homeschooling process, and then with my luck, it'll be September, and then they'll realize that 100% in-person learning is not going to work, and then my daughter could have been in her school. She could have stayed in her school. Or do I wait and see what happens come September? Because I've heard from several different people, they don't believe that remote learning is going away at all. These are people in the education system, so it's really difficult. I'm ready to do whatever I have to do. I gotta protest. I gotta write letters to the chancellor. I gotta write letters to the mayor. I have to write letters to the governor. I have to make a petition. I'm ready to do whatever I have to do. But I really wish it wouldn't be hard for not knowing what to do, feeling lost, not having to figure out this whole homeschooling process. I wish there was an option for the parents who didn't feel ready yet to send their kids back into the school building. She's been through so much, and as well as her education being a number one priority for me, her health and her safety is also my first and foremost priority as her mother. So I just want to know, is there anybody else who has these same reservations, who's feeling the same, who's going through the same? If you live in New York City, write me, comment, correspond with one another, and look into the things that we can do. Or if the mayor, chancellor give clearer options, what are we going to do? So with that said, it's been like a whirlwind of like stress, anxiety, and all of the above. And of course, just like the next parent, I long for her to have that school experience more than anything. This pandemic has brought on a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety to not only us as adults, but to these children who have not had the opportunity to live their life as they normally would. It's hard on us as adults, but normally, we carry through, we find the strength to get through. But it's really hard on children who, especially young children, who don't understand or continuously question why we have to live life like this. So of course I want my daughter to get back in school, and I wish she could have interaction. I worry about that all the time. I worry about how her being home is going to have a bearing on her mentally, emotionally, physically. All the time that we've quarantined, them having to be home and having to try to find creative ways for her to get exercise, for her to stay healthy. That's one thing. Then you worry about how it affects them mentally and emotionally, where they're usually, they're social beings. Children are social beings most of the time, and they long to go see their friends and go to school and have outings, and they look forward to things like that. So of course I worry about those things, and I think that's why I'm constantly trying to find ways to aid her through that process the best that I can. But as her mom, even if she may not understand it, my number one priority is her health, because I need my baby to stay good and safe. So if there are any other parents who are, battling with the same thing, who are not ready to send their children back to school, even though we've been ordered You know, we haven't been given any option otherwise. Please let me know in the comments if you have these same reservations. If you're living in New York City and you have any resources or any thoughts on the way we should move going forward, please let me know. It's super stressful. But that was just my little rant because I have been worried. You know, I don't like being unsure about anything when it comes to my child. I do not like that feeling of uncertainty, especially when it's something that's not even coming from me and beyond my control. So that's it for now. Maybe I'll come back with any updates as this process goes along, and when I do speak to certain people that I know who work in the education system, I'll give a little insight on what I think is going to really go down. So I'll keep up and I'll stay on top of it. I'll share whatever information I have. For anyone who is already looking into the homeschooling process, I had somebody that I know who is a teacher, someone in my family, who shared an excellent resource with me where it's a free online public school that also contributes. They have classes and they also provide the curriculum. I can link that if you're interested. And I also have the link to the actual homeschooling process and what you have to do in New York City by July 1st. So I'll link that as well. Until then, as of right now, I don't think they've said anything differently. I think it's been what Mayor Bill de Blasio has said, and the school chancellor. Nobody has stepped in to say otherwise yet. So I think right now we're still in the same boat, but I will post as we get updates. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is that you're watching this. And I hope you guys are good. And remember to spread love, peace, and joy. Later.
It's official. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Ding. Sisters Bonafide.